They say what goes up must come down, but when elevators come plunging down, that's a different story. And a very real story just a few weeks ago, when 22 construction workers were trapped in an elevator that suddenly fell 3 floors. That made us realize a lot of us have a fear of stepping into that, quote, steel coffin, myself included. It's a secret fear many of us harbor and Hollywood frequently exploits. What if something went wrong with the elevator? What if it plunged in a fatal freefall? Or simply stopped dead between floors, trapping us in a metal coffin? This fall was part of a very bad dream in the blockbuster Inception. But in the annals of frightening elevator lore, it's hard to top Nicholas White's ordeal.
It was the classic waking up into your own nightmare. I mean, I knew I was in a very serious situation.
Nick worked on the 43rd floor of a New York City skyscraper. Late one Friday night, he stepped out for a smoking break. On the way back up, his elevator ground to a halt.
I was stuck in between 0 and 39, where the first door is.
Nick had no cell phone with him, and repeated attempts to raise anybody on the intercom failed. He incessantly rang the emergency bell. No answer. He pounded on the doors and then pried them apart, only to see a cinder block wall. He paced and worried, and as the hours went by, relieved himself through the door. Finally, he tried to sleep, or at least rest, fearing the worst.
It would just be like a tomb.
Nick's story is just the kind of thing writer and blogger Joanna Goddard most fears.
My heart's pounding even just thinking about it.
She is an elevator phobe.
Yeah, in the past 10 years, I just started disliking them more and more, and now I hate them.
I'm afraid of taking elevators as well. And of course, the irony is we live in a vertical city. I take an average of 10 to 15 elevator rides every single day.
Wow, yeah.
I mean, it's impossible to get around them, isn't it?
I structure my life so that I don't have to take as many.
There are no solid statistics on how many elevator phobes there are, but doctors who treat them say the fear is quite common.
Usually it is a claustrophobia, a fear of being in an enclosed, small space. Another form of elevator phobia can be what's called agoraphobia. It is a fear of being in a place where you might have a panic attack.
But is any of this worry warranted? Just how safe are our elevators?
The safest means of transportation we have.
The safest out of everything?
Yep, they're safer than walking the streets of New York. They're safer than riding in an airplane. They're safer than driving your car or being in a bus.
We've been told that there are all sorts of checks and balances. Like there's not just one cable lifting that elevator up and down, that there are 8 or 9 cables.
That's correct. You'd have to actually break all the cables.
But every once in a while, what goes up either doesn't come down.
Help, help, I'm stuck in an elevator.
Or comes down too fast. And if things happen to change for the worse during your ride, here are a few things you should know. 1, if the elevator gets stuck, it will not magically reboot on its own.
3, jump.
And so jumping, as the movies reflect, will not jump-start a stalled elevator. And in the unlikely event it starts to fall, the urban myth is that you jump and time the jump just before it hits.
You'd never know when to jump because you wouldn't know it was going to hit.
2, the escape ceiling hatch you see in the movies locks from the top, so don't even think about any Mission Impossible escapes. And 3, on the plus side, you will not run out of air. 4, a crowded elevator is not more likely to stall. In fact, sensors in the elevator will prevent it from even moving if too many passengers get on board. And finally, whatever you do, don't try to get out on your own.
That's how you're going to get hurt. If you had to wait a day, you're better off than trying to get out by yourself.
Nick White did just what the experts say you should do. He tried to remain calm and he waited and waited. He'd gotten stuck on a Friday night. 41 hours later, on late Sunday afternoon, he was finally rescued.
And someone came over the intercom. Is there anybody in there? And I jumped up and I went, hello, hello? Yes, there's someone in here.
After it all, he still rides elevators, but here's another key tip. He never gets on one without a cell phone.
Do check my bars on my cell phone when I'm in an elevator. Yeah, always.
Okay, try it again. See what happens.
As for people like Joanna, elevator phobia is actually quite treatable.
Okay.
At the Anxiety and Phobia Treatment Center in White Plains, they use desensitization techniques to overcome a person's fears.
You switch from girls' names to boys' names.
T is for Charlie, D is for Derek, E.
For now, she says she'd rather just take the stairs.
I have friends who live on the 17th floor, and I'll take the stairs to their apartment.
To the 17th floor?
It's crazy. My husband laughs. It's like how I keep my girlish figure. But yeah, I'll just pause on the 16th floor and catch my breath, and then I'll walk into their house.
Learn 20 ways to cope with your fear of elevators at abcnews.com/2020. I know I'll be taking a look.